If you want to improve these situations, bring the work of forgiveness into the prisons and the neighborhoods. Hire more teachers and counselors and social workers. Feed people. Challenge them emotionally and mentally. Offer them experiences of safe emotional bonding. Provide them with opportunities for education and training. Give them hope. Give them acceptance. Give them love. This is the work of a peacemaker. This is service. This is embracing your brother as yourself. And please remember, in giving to others, you will be giving to yourself. Nobody gives love without receiving it. Nobody gives a gift he does not simultaneously receive. It is time that you stopped trying to punish the sinner in yourself and the criminal in your society. Punishment simply enforces rejection. That is the opposite of what is needed. Feelings of rejection must be mitigated and alleviated. Judgment and attack must be brought into the light of conscious awareness. Guilt and fear must be seen for what they are. The work of rehabilitation is a work of integration. The darkness must be brought to the light. All that is unacceptable must be made acceptable so that we can look at it without fear. The seeds of action must be found in thought and addressed there. You cannot change actions without changing thoughts. If you make certain thoughts taboo, you will be afraid to look at them. This is not constructive. Be willing to look at the murderous thoughts in the psyche so that you don't have to bury them in the unconscious. Help people take responsibility for the thoughts that they think and the effects of those thoughts. Personal power and authentic self-esteem begin with the realization that you have a choice about what to think, what to say, and how to act. Those who strike out at others feel that they have no choice. Those who know that they have a choice do not strike out at others. This is the key. Show a man the choices he has, and he will not commit a crime. Crime is another form of self-punishment, unconsciously chosen to address unconscious guilt. The criminal commits a crime because he is still trying to punish himself, and society obliges him by punishing him and reinforcing his guilt. The only way out of this vicious cycle is for society to drop the agenda of ostracism and punishment and commit to healing. Every person in pain must be asked to help himself. He must be helped to consciously identify his unworthiness and guilt, and he must be assisted in transforming these negative emotions and beliefs about himself into positive ones. The lepers of your society are no different than the leopards of my time. They bear everyone's wounds on their skin. They are bold witnesses to the pain you do not want to deal with. Society should be grateful to them, for they are way-showers. They point to the path of healing all human beings must take. Power and mastery. Cooperation with the natural laws of Earth is essential for survival. However, there are other non-physical laws or principles of mind that help to shape your experience here. For example, the thought activity of mind is fueled by looking outward and engaging in the affairs of the world. When mind turns inward to look upon itself, thought slows down and eventually comes to rest. The observer and the observed become one. The practice of self-observation is a powerful one. It breaks down the barrier between subject and object, creating a new possibility for intimacy. Past and future surrender to the present moment, the eternal now, wherein all creative potential lies. Power exists as potential. Lost my place. Power exists as potential. As soon as it manifests outwardly as force, it must overcome the resistance of its environment. It is therefore weakened. Power remains strongest when it is held in trust and not outwardly expressed. When you act, you commit yourself to a specific course of action. Changing that course then becomes difficult, particularly when a certain momentum is achieved. Therefore, before acting, mentally project the anticipated action into the situation and get feedback from the people involved. Let go of your expectations and listen carefully. Your ability to see beyond your ego-based perceptions will help you get important and helpful information. The conceptual mind expects linear results from every action taken, yet linear results are rare. As soon as a force meets a resistance, its course is altered. It moves up, down, or around the obstruction. Often it is deflected from its original trajectory. In spite of this, all your planning anticipates linear outcomes. It is no wonder that you are disappointed so often. Since most decisions are ill taken, they tend to be recycled. They are brought into circular orbit by guilt. Guilt is like a magnetic field that keeps each decision open to constant doubt and reinterpretation. Guilt brings all actions home, offering the same choice over and over in different situations. Guiltless action can only be taken when you mentally project yourself into certain situations and anticipate the outcomes. A plan that anticipates resistance and objection will fare better than one that does not. This sounds like an intellectual process, but it is anything but that. It is a highly intuitive process that requires genuine listening skills. Action does not happen before guidance has been sought. Ill-considered actions are rarely effective. They err at both ends of the spectrum. At the one end, they are impulsive. At the other end, they are over-deliberate and lack spontaneity. If I ask you what it will feel like to say something to your friend James, you can answer me in two very different ways. You can think of James and consider your past history with him and answer based on the past. Or you can sit down, close your eyes, think of James, make the statement to him and see how he reacts. The latter method will give you much better results than the former method. All the information you need in your life is obtainable in the present moment through a simple method of inquiry. Of course, this method only works if you can ask for information from a neutral standpoint. Your preference will falsely influence and distort the answer you receive. To prevent distortion, earnestly state before asking, "I place my preferences and prejudices aside and open myself to a free and truthful answer." The cyclic nature of thought and action bring up continual lessons for you. Those lessons always underscore the gap between what you want and expect will happen and what appears to manifest in your life. You keep trying to escape this dilemma, but it never works out because the dilemma itself is necessary for your learning. It is inevitable that you will focus your attention on people and things outside of you. This is the world of conditions. It cannot give you what you want. It can only reflect back to you what you don't want. The search for happiness in the world is a grim one. The world cannot make you happy. The sooner you learn this, the easier your struggle will be. If you look honestly at your experience, you will see that you spend most of your time resisting or trying to avoid certain situations. Of course, the more you try to avoid these situations, the more they come up in your life. That is because you can't learn anything through avoidance and denial. Only when you face and begin to take responsibility for the situation before you in the present will you begin to address it meaningfully. Facing your fears is the first step in the process of undoing. You think that you are here to accomplish many glamorous and important things, but that is just your ego calling out for recognition. You are here not to do anything, but to undo the false ideas and beliefs you have about yourself and others. Nobody else can do this for you. You accepted these ideas, and you must be the one to reject them. There is nothing glamorous about rejecting falsehood. Indeed, it is very earthy and it is a very earthy and sober process. Please spend some time looking at your goals. How many of these goals have to do with accomplishing something in the world?